Hi, Ramon. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
What's up, y'all? Unfortunately, no music today. Still working out the kinks. We're under some new production here working. Eduardo, how are you, my friend?
How are you, my friend? I'm very fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing all right. Good to have you this morning. Quick sound check. How do I sound? Am I coming in loud and clear? Not too loud, not too low?
Yes, it's totally clear.
Same with you. You also sound well. Let me just make sure everybody is good. Everybody in the chat. Shout out to Michael. Shout out to Wes. How are y'all? Good morning. We are it is unofficially the end of summer and we are now entering the fall season. So the the aesthetic might be a little differently when walking around. You can already see some Halloween decorations start to come up. A little early, but it's okay. Um, Eduardo, how's the climate where you are? How are things over there?
Everything is fine here. We are still in winter, so we have a little, cold, but everything's normal. Today, for example, at the morning, I went to the pool to swim a little. It's good to go in winter because you don't find people and you can swim very good.
Okay, so you've been swimming lately.
Yes.
But like, hold on, is it winter's cold? So what? You swim indoors? You
No,
prefer to
no,
swim when
no.
it's cold?
Outdoor, the pool is outdoor, so you can feel a little cold sometime, but it's tolerable.
Okay, okay. So is this common in Peru? People swimming
No,
in the winter?
no, but I prefer to go on winter because it's less people. It's there no sun, so you cannot get sunburn, or and it's because you find peace.
Okay, I'm always with peace. Do you
Yes,
prefer lake, beach, or pool?
I prefer pool because it's near to me. It's very near. It's about 8 minutes driving or 10 minutes driving, and I am a member of a club, so I can enter whenever I want. And if there are some suns, I prefer to go to beach, but not to swim there, but to stay there watching the sea or thinking about something.
All right, all right. I like that. Like I mentioned earlier, we are closing out the summer here. So sooner or later, going to the pool might not be an option unless it's an indoor pool. And by the way, how rude of me to not introduce my friend. As I mentioned, some Halloween decorations already going up. It's like soon as September 1st hits, you'll crack out the Nightmare Before Christmas deco right away. But yep, just to kind of give the usual intro, everybody, thank y'all for joining me. This is the conversation that is taking place around the world. We are here to practice our English. We are here to discuss different topics, exchange culture. And, like I said before, we're not experts in these topics, but we are like your family in the living room, talking smack, saying how we feel, respectfully, of course. So, just wanted to shout out the chat. Glad everybody that is here joining us from all around the world. Wazam, what's up? How are you today? Thanks for joining us. Anybody from around the world, wherever you may be joining us. I can sit here and call out the countries, call out the continents, but everyone is included. So now, before we get started, I kind of wanted to set the stage real quick, right? Um, I know lately been kind of like the the theme has been a little more Texas lately, and that's fine. Let's go ahead and set the stage a little bit, right? Texas being the second biggest state in the United States by size. Alaska is first, so it's the biggest border state. The second highest GDP in the United States and the eighth highest GDP in the world. So if Texas was a country, it would compete with other countries as the eighth ranked in GDP. So it has a big economy, everything from oil to natural gases, also known for its Western lifestyle culture, barbecue, cowboys, you name it. More specific, let's talk a little bit about Dallas. Eduardo, have you heard about Dallas before?
Yes, I heard about it's in the middle of the desert, I think, right?
No, not really in the middle of the desert, I would
But
say.
there is a desert zone.
Uh, maybe have to double check that. Of course, Dallas it's a big city, one of the biggest cities in Texas. Um, Also very famously known for its TV show from back in the day, Dallas. It's an old TV show a lot of people used to watch. We have there's the Dallas Mavericks, also kind of taking up collaborating with Fort Worth to create the DFW, right? Dallas Fort Worth area. There are rural areas, there are city areas, there's nature, there's lakes, there's all kind of things here. Um, and we see with that, I just kind of wanted to set the stage as I go into our topic so we understand where we're at, so we know where we're going, right? So the state of Texas, right? And it also kind of is also known for like being very independent. It kind of sings its own tune, does its own thing in a way. And like they say, everything is bigger in Texas. What does that even mean? Well, if you ever visited, you would know exactly what they mean. Some things here are unnecessarily too big. And I literally mean it can be anything. I saw a tub of barbecue sauce bigger than a two-story house. So, and another fun fact about Dallas, Dallas is also home to the largest state fair in the country. Now, when I say fair, for my Spanish speakers, right? Una feria, rides, food, cotton candy, entertainment, music. Eduardo, talk to me a little bit about if you have any fairs where you
Yes,
are.
yes. For example, here in Peru, we have different kind of fairs. For example, why I say different kind because depend the sector that you want to visit, you have different fairs. For example, particularly me, I do not assist to any fair, but my team, my work team, go to the fair because they, need to share their car, they need to share their service there. So, for example, we have affairs about construction, so you find there all supplier of construction sectors. People who sell you materials to build your house or anything, any other things. But for example, here the fairs it's according to the sector. If you want to go to a fair of food, you can find fair that sell you foods, different dish or from each different place. Or if you want to find, for example, a sector like lactose, you can find cheese, you can find meals, you can find all these things related to lactose, right? So it's kind of different fairs because you go according to the sector. But it's very good to go there because here I don't know if it's like a fair or like yeah, it's a fair, but it's a fair more, more it's for one segment of people, one kind of people. And you can find conference there, you can buy products, you can do networking there. So it's a good place to know about about something.
And you are absolutely correct, which is why I'm glad I asked this question. Now, the word fair, English, right? Back to English. The word fair, Fair, can have a couple different meanings. The weather could be fair, right? Meaning like it's not really too crazy. You can play a game and someone could be not playing fair. It's not fair. Life is not fair when something is not just or it's not fair. But when something does have justice, something is correctly, everyone is being treated the same, everything has an equal playing ground, then we're all playing fair. We're equal. We're being treated the same. So in this case, yes, a fair can also be kind of like a convention where you go and in a convention center, and like you said, depending on the market, depending on what it can be a job fair, it can be a food convention. Now in this particular fair, it's a little bit more on the entertainment side of things. This fair is more like, think of like a Ferris wheel. You know what a Ferris wheel is? It's like a big circle ride, which I believe. Go ahead.
And I think that it have an economic impact, right? Because, for example, I see, I know that you what kind of fair you are talking about, because in Peru we have this kind of fair, but it's different, and it helps to a local impact. For example, both the local economy. For example, if you go to a town, you can find a fair where many people go there to sell their they sell different things typical from the place, from that place. For example, you have vendor opportunities, you have many artists there, you can find farmers, you can find, I don't know, many other uh, sellers that sells their animals, they are the thing that they work, for example. So it's a community engaged, right? And it's a cultural exchange too, because you can find many things that you can learn, right? So it's something that try to preserve the traditions of the place, and it shows that a family friendly entertainment if you want to go with your family, or because there are many activities that you can find there, like games, like live performance, artists playing music, or even you can find in another fair that are more, technological, or more sophisticated. You can find trendy events like, I don't know, innovation stuff or something like that. So yes, it's something that you can find lot of benefits, not only for you but for people who are there inside,
Exactly. A-
participating in this.
And the Texas State Fair is no different, right? From the moment you walk in, it is just, you are in a Texas wonderland. Just everywhere you look, especially if you look up. Because if you look up, the first thing you're going to see, and the world famous Big Tex. You know who's Big Tex? You heard of Big Tex?
No, what's that? It's
Okay,
a
if you look at the thumbnail of this live stream, it is the big giant cowboy that is on display at the fair every year. He is gigantic. Um, I mean, people take pictures with him. He's a cowboy, so he has a cowboy hat. He has a Dickies shirt, and it's funny because this giant character, you would call him, right? Because he is like the highlight of the fair, has gone through many evolutions, right? Originally, it was 49 feet tall, and it was a Santa Claus originally. But through the years, through time, Big Tex has seen many changes, facelifts, He's looked differently, even a little tragedy a couple times, and he stands tall today as the cowboy character figure that you see at the state fair every year. It's just kind of interesting to see the different changes that it goes through. One of someone said something that was very interesting about Big Tex. They said we found our Mickey Mouse because having a character is very important. No pun intended, but Buc-ee's on my shirt, which is the largest gas station in Texas. It's a gas station chain, but it's way more than just a gas station. In fact, calling it a gas station, it is it might just be disrespectful compared to everything that it provides. But Bucky's has a character, which is the beaver. So it's like having big text is a symbol of this fair. Like you said, at the fair, it's about culture. It preserves the culture of the place. It kind of like shows the lifestyle. It's a place where basically everyone goes to. Anyone can be there. Now, now in these kind of fairs, more visual, you see like rides, roller coasters, Ferris wheels, the gravitron, lot of lights, very, you know, bright lights everywhere, music. There is different parts of the fair where you can go, and there can be like what you mentioned, more like of a market where people are selling things, doing things. But these days, the fair has just so many different things. I back home in Miami, there was the youth fair. The youth fair is very similar to the state fair. Very similar concept. Of course, in Miami, it's more Miami themed, but the idea of the rides, the food, the entertainment, the aesthetic is pretty similar. You know, Ferris wheel vibes. So, yes, so to be fair, no pun intended, to be fair, the fair is a fun place, right? There's a lot of kids there.
Yes, I see that. I see that. It's very it's very. I mean, it's very entertainment because you
Okay.
can find the food that you find there is very cheap and it's very good. I like it because of that.
Now, I'm going to tread lightly because, and I am also part of this movement, right? Like in Florida, I am a concealed weapon license carrier, so I get it. But this year, things are a little different. Last year, there was a shooting at the fair where three people got injured at this state fair. That was last year. So this year, they're making a rule to ban guns from entering the fair unless you are a retired or currently active police officer, especially in Texas. That made a lot of people not feel good because this is the Second Amendment. This is our right. It's how we protect ourselves. But you got to look at it from two point of views. And I'm being neutral. I'm just stating the facts. So last year, guns were allowed. In this fair, they also sell alcohol. I mean, of course, the alcohol is in a certain part, but I mean, it's nothing to grab a beer and walk to the other side. I mean, there's a lot of alcohol served, which technically you're not supposed to be drinking while you have your gun on you. And there was an accident or an incident. for that sake, and 3 people got hurt. So common sense says, okay, so allowing it is causing a problem. So the state fair decided to ban the guns this year.
Yes, and I know that we have experienced these accidents because it's an accident, right? It's shooting, something that is a shooting event is, I seen that
Well,
where
I mean,
people died, it will be an accident, right?
well, no,
So
a car accident is an accident. If someone
no,
takes out a gun and shoots it, that's not an accident. That is a an incident. That
yeah,
someone meant to do that. Now,
yeah,
the guy fell and the gun went off by accident. That's different, but I don't think that's what happened. Um,
yeah. For example, I highly believe I am a pro guns bans, for example, because I feel that it's probably it's for safety, right? It's for maintain people safe. Imagine that if you go with the guns, you are more probability that you are involved in intentional shooting. For example, if you maybe are someone that is buying something and somebody take their gun and start to shooting, and you can get involvement, and you are in defense because maybe you don't use guns, right? So these events put people in danger, right? Especially people do not use a guns. And so these bans guns make you feel more security, make you feel more safe. So it's I think that it's a preventing measure, right? So it's a preventing measure, and it's prevent from potential shootings, and I suppose that it's a good idea, at least at the moment, right? But I know that there are other sides that say that no, because you are restringing my self-defense, or you are attending from my rights, or you are attending from my liberty, right? So but I I understand that the other point of view, especially in part of the city that can maybe be a little dangerous, right? And you need defense for these events, but it's it's kind of you have to analyze. But if you put in a if you put your prevent for shooting, and you put prevent for feel insecurity, I think that it's better to ban guns, at least in fairs, where you can find, for example, alcohol, where you can find maybe situation that can in that can make easy to use the guns and to have accidents because of use of guns, and especially if you have antecedents, right? If you have a past where it happens, so you have to prevent this, right?
Understandable. Like I said, I'm not claiming to have the solution. I can see both sides. Now, attorney Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing the city of Dallas and the state fair for this. He gave them an opportunity to change this rule, and they did not change the rule. So, with that being said, he has issued a lawsuit because, according to the lawsuit, they're unlawfully banning the guns because the fair is on government owned public property, which is called Fair Park. So, because of that, it violates the state law, which is unconstitutional, goes against the Second Amendment, and the attorney general himself is the one pushing the lawsuit. Now, I think this is my opinion. I am not an expert. I don't have research to back this up. But I think they are both sides making it very black and white, when really there might be a gray area here. Now, you got to think about it like this. Now, if I was going to the fair riding on roller coasters, the Gravitron, drinking beers, eating corn dogs. By the way, the food at the fair is phenomenal. I may not feel too comfortable with my thing on me, you know? Because when I'm carrying my weapon, I'm in a certain mindset or a mind state where I am a little more on the security side of things. And the fair is like the opposite, right? You're having fun, you're enjoying it, or you're there with your kids. So, I mean, would I want to? Maybe not, but do we have to? Because now you're telling me there was a shooting last year. Now I really feel like I need it. Because if someone enters with a gun, no one else has one. And that's a problem. When you know that everyone else has one, you might think about it twice.
Yes,
Which is
and you know now that you mentioned that, Ramon, for example, it's very important to have a different strategy to avoid these shootings public event, for example. You can increase the security inside the fair, for example. You can make visible security. I mean, people who are very visible with their presence, that they security personnel or police officer present in the fair that try to avoid people to use their shooting unnecessary, right? To use their gun, sorry. Or you can find, for example, advanced technology. You can use advanced technology to, like these cams where you put and they identify who are using their guns. Maybe you can have an alarm or something like that, or something, detectors that can make put in alert to people that if someone's trying to use their guns. Or for example, you can control better the access, people who access to the fairs. You can have some restriction to access people that are not, security, or not very sure that they are going to have the best behavior. Or even you can have or you can implement emerging response, right? For example, you can have a protocol for evacuations, very clear, develop it an evacuation. Oh, if there is happens a shooting, this is the protocol. You have to evacuate in this way. You have these emergency medical teams that is going to respond very quickly if there are some incidents, or there are someone's injured. Or even you can have collaboration with local, like policemen, to have a better response, right? Or even you can give these flyers to people that, this public awareness that, hey, please don't use your gun here because of this and the other. So you can prevent in different ways, not only to bans, right?
exactly. There could be a gray area. Again, there's AI, there's different systems we can use. You mentioned a bunch of solutions. Is it extra work? Probably more budget,
Yes, but
but ensures the safety of the people. Maybe collaborates with the attorney general. Maybe not everyone's upset. Maybe there's some kind of like
you have to.
fair common ground we can stand on.
Yes, but you have to know that there exists a precedent, right? There has been a shooting there, so it's necessary to now work on that because it happened in the past. So you have to avoid this happening again, right? So of course, an investment.
Okay, okay, okay. Valid points, valid points. I mean, I hope before the state fair actually begins, we're able to come to a resolution. We're able to come to a fair common ground. Sorry, having too much fun with the word fair today. Friends, I apologize if the video is lagging. I did notice that. We are going through different tests, trying different things. Hopefully, if the audio is still clear and you can hear everything, then that should be fine. I mean, you don't necessarily have to watch me moving my arms around throughout the whole time, but we're testing things. As you guys noticed, you might see us maybe once a week, maybe once every other week, maybe, like I said, we're just figuring out what is the best way for us to bring the live stream to you guys as common as possible that makes sense for all of us. So forgive us if the video is lagging this time. We are using a different system. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We did have some other topics, but I mean, really, I just wanted to just kind of highlight the state fair here in Texas, which is coming up. Um, Speaking about the topic of guns and banning them, which is always a conversation. Eduardo, I feel like we've had this conversation like 8 times already. It is a common issue. There was a shooting recently in a high school in Atlanta or in Georgia. Let me just fact check. I don't want to say the wrong place. Um, Definitely in Georgia. Let me see. It was this past week. It was just sometimes like we have our, okay, Appalachian High School in Georgia. All right, just to kind of, let me see. I just want to. I like fact checking. I don't like saying things that may possibly not be precise. Let me see here. So this was in Barrow County in Georgia, and there was a high school. There was a school shooting. The suspect was a 14-year-old. The father is currently in trial, facing sentencing. He's also being charged for that because he was a minor and he gifted him the weapon that was used. I don't want to get deep into it. I just don't want to ignore it. But I also, it wasn't part of what we were going to talk in our live stream as we plan for our live stream. Things happen every single day. So sometimes little topics just jump in at the last minute. But overall, wherever you are, school, fair, home, store, anywhere, please, 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 please take care of yourself and everyone around you and anyone that is around you. Just try your best. Even if that means staying to yourself and avoiding everyone and just doing what you have to do, please, 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 let's try our best to spread the safety in every community. We all have the right to live and feel safe as we do. So I know the topic of guns gets brought up, and hey, I'm a fan. I enjoy going to the gun range. I enjoy carrying my weapon. Not enjoy carrying it, but I understand that I need to. But of course, we can have hobbies. We can be attracted to certain things. That's fine. But as long as we handle it with maturity, respect, and safety and humility, we can move forward and we can get far.
You
Again,
know,
think,
I,
yeah,
I
go
know
ahead.
it's not the first time that happened this in high school, right? I know that in many high schools in USA's there has been shooting, and there are many people have died because of that. But I suppose that the school have to some control, right? Have to implement some control for prevent this, right? So, but I know that there are more there are places that are more propense to this, right? Like schools that are dangerous, more dangerous than others, right? You know, right? Because when you live in a city, you know perfectly that this kind of school is probably more dangerous than the other, because people who assist on this is from this part of the city, and on that part of the city it's characteristic because there are many violence or something like that. It's not because I want to in a way discriminate this and the other, but we have to be realistic about what happens on some school. So I suppose that if you categorize some school according to the violence or according to the insecurity that they have, you can implement some measures, right? If you categorize this school because a dangerous place, because it's a dangerous place, you can implement security measures like gun controls, mental health support for people, for students, education and training for teachers to how to respond to this event, or even even you have to be prepared and have your own guns, right? So there are many, content that you can implement because of of the situation, right? So I think that it's important to categorize in what kind of school are more propense to this. And I know that it can happen in any school, but at
Yeah.
least we know that there are others that are more probability that it happening, right? So you can implement more measures.
The funny thing is, it always happens where you didn't think it would.
Yeah, yeah,
Always,
I know.
always. The the enemy tries to find where people cannot protect themselves.
But at least being prepared, it's
Yes,
better.
agreed. Agreed. Like every school should be treated like a government building, right? Security guards armed at the door, licensed, highly monitored. Agreed, man. Agreed. Which is why schools are a scary place nowadays, and it should not be that way. We're there to learn. We're there to be children, have fun, have experiences, make memories, not to be dodging bullets. I mean, again, the conversation can can leave us all long-winded, but Eduardo, my brother, thank you so much for joining me today. Real quick little plug, guys. If you guys can tune in and check out Southern Drive 2, my newest video on my channel. Me and the family take a road trip across the southern states. This is part two, the sequel. We're going from Alabama through Mississippi. Check that out. We got some shorts promoting it. We got the full video on the channel. Check it out and support as you guys always do. Much love. But again, I'm looking forward to visiting the state fair. Um, I've always loved going to the fair, enjoying the food, the rides, even though I'm not crazy about like super big rides. Like, but it's okay. Every now and then I challenge myself a little more. They got art displays. I heard something about dinosaurs somewhere. It's a lot of fun. Eduardo, I would love for you to come and join me one day at the Texas
Yes,
State Fair. I'll buy you a corny dog. How about that?
yes. As soon as I get my visa, I'm going to travel to go to see you, my friend.
Absolutely. And in the future, we also hope to hear from. I'm not going to spoil anything, but we would love to hear from some of your future travels as well. Again, y'all, I'm sorry for the video quality. I did not think it would lag this much in this program, but it's okay. Now I know what I need to fix for next time. Hopefully, the audio is still clear. Thank y'all for joining. This has been episode 35, right? If I'm not mistaken, of the
Yes.
live stream. Hey, we're still here. We're still going. Thank y'all, and we'll catch y'all next time. Bye.
Bye, my friends. Thank you very much for joining us to one episode to us. I want to finish this podcast saying that uh, be safe. So if we discuss this topic, is because it's a public, it involves to everyone's, and we want to engage the safety, your safety. So try to be safe. Try to understand the importance of discuss this topic because it's something that affects to everyone. So it's safe. Don't use. Try to not use your guns. Try to not being involving in this situation because it's very dangerous and it's very fatal. Many people have died and there are not way to go back. So be very careful. And thank you very much for joining us and see you next time. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Eduardo, for taking us home. And to everybody in Texas, I'll check you out. I'll see y'all at the State Fair. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Thank you, my friend. Bye bye. How was it?
Good.